Welcome back, YouTube. So I want to make this video as my first segment of market talk, just to go over like the macro of the market, because obviously there's a seen and an unseen behind these charts. And I wanted to specifically point out where we are just overall. And I'm going to start here with the Nasdaq, because I think that even when we put out certain information, they'll think that, oh well, it's just geared toward whatever is most consistent on the channel, like Dogecoin or Bitcoin, or this is just for crypto, and not like this doesn't pertain to the entire economy. And the fact of the matter is, this is globally, and this pertains to all investment sectors. When it comes down to TA, we can chart all day, we can do retracements and Fibonacci, EMAs, all that kind of stuff. But let's just look at this from a technical and just a common sense approach. When you have small market caps and large market caps, and you say, okay, what has the last year, 2 years been like? You'll say that we had record unemployment, and as far as for market participation, as far as for being able to like work and stuff like that, it was down, and we had a lot of supplements. Now, if you take that into account and you look at the market and you say, what about where we are right now, and the evaluation of our economy is natural and accurate? This is really all it comes down to. Like, so if you look at something like the Nasdaq here, you'll say, oh, okay, well, we have this big dip here because of COVID, and you'll see that this literally changed the trajectory of the market. So we had this this steady incline. I'm not saying that we weren't getting injections back before 2020, but they really ramped it up. And now we have this really steep decline here at a time where there was record unemployment and the economy was crippled, all these stipends, PPP loans, everything's just, money's just raining from heaven. And we have this roar in the economy, right? Record housing prices, just everything just setting records. Financially, it looks like, oh my God, the economy is doing great. But how? Let's look at one more chart here, the S&P 500, right? So we're going to look, sorry, what am I doing? On the SPY. We're going to look at the S&P 500 here, and you'll see the exact same thing. We will look at like some of like the ETF trusts and stuff. So we'll say, okay, well, the trajectory here, again, we have this steep climb of just, it just looks like the economy is just booming and everything is okay from the outside. Now, if you're taking this and looking at the macro, you say, okay, well, what does this mean for the evaluations of our companies? Are these companies overvalued? Are there going to be, is there an equilibrium somewhere between where the injections of money happen and where the economy naturally should be? That is the most important question any investor should be asking themselves. Not about, in the macro things. Not about like, okay, is it Dogecoin or is it Bitcoin, Apple, Microsoft, all these little wars and stuff like that going on in like the micro. These coins are going to be fine going outside of this. If you have utility, vision, community, leadership, you're going to survive anything, whether that's the correction or a bear market. But as far as for preparation and where the market is actually going and your time frame, you have to look at where the money is actually coming from and evaluate that as far as to what state we're in right now. And the truth of the matter is, none of this is what happened in the last couple of years is natural. A lot of these values of companies and even coins have been overinflated. And so people are trying to calculate that into their trajectories and stuff like that. And they're going to end up either being disappointed or missing the mark by a few years. The economy, as it's been growing, is not sustainable. Like, this is unnatural growth. So even outside of, if we're going to say, oh, well, they can kind of do like some tapering and bridge a softer landing or something like that, this isn't going to be sustainable at this level. And when you say, okay, well, I'm planning to take my investment, or I read this online, or the blogs and stuff, you have to take all of that into account. There is no one size fit all approach. And when you say, you have to have people out here, because I know it's easy to say diamond hands and stuff like that when everything's been going up. And, because technically, and I get a lot of heat for this on my channel when I do videos, because I don't just pump hopium and I'll say, hey, here are the positive numbers, here are the negative numbers. And the internet has created this culture of, because most of investors, they only know bull markets, that everything's supposed to go up. And if we just hold, it's likely that within the next few months or something like that, we're going to rally. And this year, we're going to have new all-time highs again for the third year. Like it's just when you have for the third year with the record inflation, and for the money that's been injecting into the economy to literally is starting to be removed through the mortgage-backed securities and the bonds market. So now the market in itself, technically, yes, it is basically rigged to go up, right, continuously. But when we take into the fact like these little segments that we have, these corrections and these bear markets, you're going to have to custom fit like your approach based off of your time frame. The reason I say that is because I know for a fact there are a lot of people out there that are over leveraged and they're betting the rent money, and they're going to put themselves into a situation where they can't afford to be in the red for a few months or even a year or so. And none of that is unheard of in the market. And so if you never positioned yourself for that, then you're putting yourself at a strong disadvantage. So this has nothing to do with whether you like a particular coin or a particular stock. This is more so about positioning yourself in the overall market. The market in itself, these numbers are fluffed up, and the support that's been holding the market up is going to find a footing. And if I have to bet, I'm not a betting man, but I have to say that it'll be somewhere between where it is now and where the natural curve of that line was. Now, long term, these coins with large market caps, small market caps, again, as long as they hit those four tiers I mentioned earlier, they will survive and be able to bounce back. But when you are playing the game of, because a lot of people, they're saying that they're long-term holders or long-term investors, but really they're day traders, because as soon as it hits a certain numbers, they're going to try and make an exit, which means more than likely they either don't have a long-term mindset, or again, they bet money that they can't afford to have invested for an extensive amount of time. So I put this message out as my first like market talk, market discussion with you guys, to look at the macro of the overall market and kind of get an idea of, to start like hedging yourself or just being strategic with your entries, because there is a strong chance that you may be able to get better pricing on some of your favorite coins and some of your favorite stocks. If you follow my channel, don't just rule everything that is going up as a positive catalyst. And then when you get on YouTube and you're doing your research, don't look for things that just confirm your beliefs or what you want to hear. You're going to end up lying to yourself at some point. Look at the whole picture. If you're going to be a proficient investor and participate in these markets, you're going to have to understand all the cycles in totality, and understand that the segments, because it's rare that you have like these crashes or corrections out of nowhere. Normally you'll see like warning signs, or you'll have these catalysts going out there. And I don't want so many people with their heads in the sand, just, chasing, like hopium and, to the moon, this and all that kind of stuff like that, that you miss out on opportunities that you have to either get better entries, or simply hedge yourself and make money the opposite way, and pretty much be able to double, triple your investment on the bullish side. These options are out there, but only if you are aware of what's going on and you prepare yourself. And that's all I want for you guys. And this pertains to everyone, whether you're a bull or a bear. This is the state of the economy that we're in. And we know that the feds, they're pretty much, like I said earlier, they're in between a rock and a hard place. They're battling inflation on this side. And also if, you have market participation, which they're saying is good, but, at the same time, if they're too aggressive, you have the ability to, send us into the R word. So you have to kind of, they're doing like this little dance, this little shuffle right now in between. But we do know, based off of Jerome Powell's own words, that the Fed's purpose is not to moon our stocks or to make sure that the stock market doesn't crash. Their two primary focuses are market participation and controlling the inflation rate. That is what they use to measure pretty much like a healthy economy. So as long as those two are in check, then they believe that we are pretty much in good placement for growth. So not mooning our stocks is not in the category here. So we have to kind of take care of that and fend for ourselves, and not count on these bailouts like we have been getting. Because most investors that when I post things like this to try and inform them, they go, "Oh, it's FUD, it's FUD, it's FUD." I guarantee you they've been in the markets for less than a year and a half, right? So, when you have to, and I really just put this out as a warning, because please learn the charts, do some research, and don't get all of your information from YouTube, because these cycles and stuff like that, people that are experienced, they're going to, even if it's, let's say they do some tapering and they smooth out this year or whatnot, a bear market will come. I guarantee it. And we will have a correction. And if you're on the wrong side of that, if you're invested in a bunch of BS, you're going to get your money is going to get vacuumed away from you. So I really put this out so that you guys can study and focus on the macro as well, and not just the micro. With that being said, I hope you found value in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I'll be doing more of these market talks, and we'll be going over some of the macro events so that we can better focus and organize our micros. Don't forget about BlockFi as well. Open an account with them. You can get up to $250, some of your favorite cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Until next time.